Hello, and I'm Dr. Morse, and I'm shooting this video to introduce you to myself and who I am, and a little bit of my background to help you understand more about, again, who I am. I was kind of raised in the Midwest as a farm boy, a lot of work. But a lot of milk products, a lot of dairy products, and I always had congestion in the sinuses and always had a lot of problems with mucus and stuff. I didn't know how bad dairy products were for you on farms, and you just drink a lot of milk. Matter of fact, a lot of propaganda on drink milk all the time, the slick little white ring around the mouth. However, this is a very deadly food, and I even hate to call it a food. But when I was 20, I started building houses, and I was introduced to raw foods. I'd hired a carpenter, and he was bringing raw foods in his lunchbox, and I kept looking at that, and raw foods always looked good to me. Apples and fruits and things. We had a lot of vegetables on the farm, but then a lot of meat and dairy. And so I thought that really looked good, and I started reading books from the natural hygienic movement, which is Shelton and Dr. Tilden and Fry, T.C. Fry, and that whole group of raw foodists. They had a fasting clinic down here in Bonita Springs, and when I moved to Florida, I just really tore into this raw foods. I started fasting. If you go back to the dawn of time, fasting has always been the top of the mountain in healing for animals and man. And so at every level, even all your spiritual giants, Jesus, Buddha, Mohammed, all these people fasted. The Sufis fast. So fasting is a way that you develop some self-discipline, you quiet yourself, and you let the body heal itself. It's funny, you have to understand that the body is the healer here. We're just helping the body with energetics and a little bit of nutrition maybe, but allowing the body to use its own innate consciousness to heal itself. And I read about fruits and fruitarianism, and I started comparing the species, and I looked at the human, and of course the human is very related to primates. Matter of fact, the National Geographic Channel is always calling the Homo sapien primates, human primates. And of course now they found Ardipithecus, a female, human-like individual back in Ethiopia, found her 44 million years old. So it kind of blew in anthropology the kind of concept that we went back 22 million years ago to the primates. But in that discovery, it still was understood that the Homo sapien is a tropical species. So I thought, well, it would be great to try fruitarianism since our bodies are designed specifically for fruit. We're not vegetarians. If you look at the vegetarian animals, the herbivores, they're horses and cows and elephants. They have a heck of a set of grinders. They have 4 stomachs at least, and they got a GI tract 30 times the length of their spine. Incredibly long, and a lot of digestive power going through all that cellulose. Hard for humans to deal with vegetables, truly. I like my salads, but there was a time when I was a fruitarian that I couldn't eat them. They were too coarse for me. And so as I got more into fruitarianism, I did leave the vegetable kingdom behind because they were too coarse, too low in vibration, because as you develop your ability to eat raw foods, your energy starts going way up. And as your energy starts going up, then you get sensitive to low energy things. Low energy foods, dead foods, cooked foods, very low in magnetics, not enough to support the Homo sapien brain and nervous system by far. Matter of fact, in my work in spinal cord injuries and neurological conditions like MS and Lou Gehrig's and Parkinson's, you can't rebuild man's nervous system on vegetables. You have to go into the high level of fruits and their magnetics to get any type of nerve regeneration. Spent 40 years in working with neurological cases, and we've had some incredible cases from a C3, C4 spinal cord injury. That's one below Christopher Reeves. Complete spinal cord separation, down 12 years. I totally rebuilt her. It took me 11 months to do it. Others have been a little more difficult, and it just depends upon the case. But understanding the raw foods are key. No animal, of course, cooks their food before they eat it. I think that's easy to understand that. When I got into that, I got so self-disciplined, to change from a farm boy attitude with the meats and the potatoes and the milks into raw foods. I had to exercise a bit of self-discipline. In doing that, I kind of got overboard. I didn't realize at the time that I was getting egotistical about this. I see this in many people. Many people, even on the YouTubes that are into raw food, sometimes get real egotistical and judgmental about others. And I learned a long time ago the hard way that you never judge anybody. We're all on this planet together, and we should become a one planet, not through the World Bank consciousness, but through the God consciousness. And all become friends and brothers and sisters, because fun place to be if you're not going through too many ups and downs a little bit. But understanding that diet is key. What you eat, drink, breathe, what you put on your skin is how you bring the outside world of chemistry in, and everything is chemistry on this planet. Those that know a little more can understand that chemistry is just frequencies of magnetic energy, and so now in quantum physics, of course, we proved not only that everything is energy and frequencies, we've also proved now that energy has intelligence, which goes to the omnipresence of God. So those of you that have been on raw foods experience a much heightened degree of awareness and peace and tranquility, as well as a greater need and a greater understanding of the Supreme Being. And this is what happened to me. Always wanted to know who the Supreme Being was. But until I got to raw foods, it was kind of like going through religious belief systems to try to get to that door, and that's not a door that opens that way. The door opens through you. You're the only key, and each one of you are the key to the kingdom, because you are the kingdom in certain ways. A lot of times we think ourselves to be very physical and limited beings. In reality, I see all of you as souls, infinite beings of great light and love, working with these little bitty physical bodies and their emotional bodies and mental bodies, and working through all these problems that we have. So it's important to understand, or at least to allow yourself to start being or looking from yourself as soul, instead of saying my soul, or separating yourself from all life. And this is what creation tends to do, is build separation. So as a fruitarian, that is someone who eats just fruits. I was that way for many years. I lived out in the woods in a Volkswagen camper van. And then I heard, try just one fruit. Because if you look at nature, most animals are mono-eaters. They only eat one food at a time. And each food has a different level of consciousness. So when you eat too many foods, you can get confused in the mind. And so if you eat simplistically, you will find that you'll have more energy and more clarity, and you'll digest better and feel better. And then there's this big thing about nutrition out there. But if you look at this, there are breatharians on this planet. There's a beautiful woman from Australia teaching breatharianism. Johnny Love Wisdom was attempting that, of course. There was a yoga in the Wall Street Journal the other day that only takes 2 ounces of water every day, washes his mouth out.